Well, I've done a video about Western video games being successful today. That being, of course, Space Marine 2. And then this article releases, and I was like, wow. What a ridiculous state of affairs. Star Wars Outlaws. Got to remember, contextually, right? Space Marine 2, Games Workshop. Yeah, it's a popular franchise, but it's nowhere near as popular, or shouldn't be anywhere near as popular as Star Wars. Star Wars is more widely recognised, right? It has a broader base of sort of name brand recognition. But yeah, Star Wars Outlaws has all but fallen off the top 40 most popular PlayStation games list, which is less than a month after its release. So just a huge failure. Huge failure. And this is, of course, Ubisoft, but, you know, it's not just Ubisoft. It's Disney. It's Lucasfilm. It's their, I guess, incessant beating of the brand into the dirt. So I thought this was quite funny, really. Again, compare Space Marine 2. And, you know, hey, sure, maybe we'll compare in a month's time. Maybe we'll have a look and see what Space Marine is doing in a month's time. But I still think it'd be doing better than this. I mean, let's place your bets. What do you guys think? Do you think it will be doing better than Star Wars Outlaws? This is an open world Star Wars game, supposedly. And it's just completely died a death. I bet you anything Ubisoft thought they had like a GTA on their hands. You know, Grand Theft Auto Online. I bet you anything. I bet you that's what they thought. No, mate. So let's take a look. I'll leave this article link down below. Hit subscribe if you're new here. So Star Wars Outlaws has nearly fallen out of the top 40 most popular PlayStation games list in less than a month after its release. Epic fail. True Trophies, which reports its weekly top 40 most popular PlayStation based off a sample PlayStation games, based off a sample of 3.1 million PlayStation Network accounts. So a pretty big sample, not huge, but it's a relatively large sample. Notes that Star Wars Outlaws ranked in 39th position in its fourth week of the charts. Got to remember as well, this is them, well, essentially comparing it like for like, right? Like they've previously done this before. So to put it into perspective, it's beaten by Hogwarts Legacy, right? I mean, that's what, like a year old now? Maybe even older. I know it's at least a year old. God of War Ragnarok and Ghost of Tsushima. So, yeah, all three games released over a year ago. Terrible. Awful. Star Wars. You've got to remember, the Star Wars brand. So not only is the game almost out of the top 40 list, but True Trophies indicates that less than 9,000 people played the game. Less than 9,000 people playing the game. That's obscene. That's absurdly low. So similar PSN profile reports that there are only 7,090 Star Wars Outlaws owners. Now, give it its, to give credit where credit is due, this may be, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's because of the Ubisoft sort of monthly deal that Ubisoft have going on. You know, you sort of subscribe to Ubisoft and you can play all their games or whatever it is for a certain amount on a monthly basis. Maybe that's because a certain amount of people are doing that, which definitely could be the case, right? That absolutely could be the case. So I've got to say that. However, let's get to some other figures that are comical as hell. So Firewalk Studios Concord, that game that basically cost $400 million and is a huge failure, that had 1,696 players, while PSN profiles reported 1,662 Concord owners. So in the other direction, Black Myth Wukong has 26,753 owners according to True Trophies, and 22,206 according to PSN profiles. So not bad. And then you have Space Marine 2. Again, Space Marine 2. You've got to give it its due. Games Workshop. Okay, Games Workshop, Space Marine. Warhammer. Not a huge brand. I mean, it's big, but it's nowhere near as big as Star Wars. Space Marine 2 has 12,414. Okay, that's according to True Trophies. and 7,558 according to PSN profiles. Now, just to clarify, Black Myth Wukong is 9th on True Trophies, most recent top 40. And where's Space Marine 2? It's in at number 12. In at number 12. Hilarious. Hilarious. So maybe one of the positives of Star Wars Outlaws regarding its sales is that it has been in the top 5 in the UK for its first month. The game debuted at the top of the charts when it released. However, this came with a caveat. Christopher Dring noted that its launch sales were 55% lower than what Star Wars Jedi Survivor did. So, yeah, not great. And then a week later, about half of Assassin's Creed Mirage. And in its second week, it fell to second. It dropped to 5th in its third week. And most recent, it moved back up to 4th. So while it has steadily maintained a top 5 spot over its first month, that does not necessarily indicate sales are astounding. No, it just means that nothing else is really selling either. Which it would be interesting to see what happens now, because Space Marine 2. It says here, maybe one of the biggest pieces of evidence that the game is not selling well is that Ubisoft has not touted any sales figures. So, yeah, it's died a death. The company has remained silent, unlike its contemporaries at Focus Entertainment and Game Science that announced how well Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 and Black Myth Wukong did. Space Marine 2, apparently 2 million copies in 24 hours after its global release. Bloody brilliant. They're talking about sequels already. Black Myth Wukong, 10 million copies in around 4 days. Just outrageous. Outrageous. You know, previously Ubisoft had revealed that Assassin's Creed Valhalla had sold 1.8 million copies in a press release just a week after the game released. So they're not uncommon, you know, touting numbers. But yeah. Hilarious, ladies and gents. So Star Wars Outlaws is a huge failure. A huge bomb. Epic failure. I would love to see... Well, I guess we will see it, actually. What Ubisoft think they've sort of earned revenue-wise for this game. We will hear about that. Because we'll have their earnings reports. The beauty of it being, you know, sort of a public company. We get all that stuff. So it'll be fascinating to see. I mean, Ubisoft is just dog shit now. And so Star Wars. Amazing. You had the keys to the castle. The keys to the castle of golden geese. You could have just printed money. But you decided to just fuck it all up with woke shit. Ridiculous. Anyway, leave your thoughts down below. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.